What's good, guys? What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Liberia, to the world. I'm Cephas, and today I have a video. I want to talk about something with you guys. I want to kind of bring this back a little bit. Our most recent podcast had something to do with this, right? But also, it's just a hot topic. It's a topic that I get emails about all the time, that I get questions about all the time. I was just kind of looking through our emails, and I just realized a lot of the question has to do with construction, obviously. Second question has to do with just businesses in Liberia. What kind of businesses are good ones? Now, I'm gonna make as many videos as possible talking about these topics because they're so in-depth that I can't really cover everything in one video, or at least I'll miss something, or there may be other questions that may come up that I feel like I need to address. So let's talk about a few things when it comes to businesses in Liberia 2023. What are the smart businesses to do? But also, and it's gonna be a little different from other things I've said before, right? Because there are so many layers to this. There's so many different avenues you can take and have a successful business in Liberia today in 2023. Also, when it comes to building in Liberia, just questions around that, how to go about it, things to look out for. And I still get questions today about buying land and the land buying process. So I'm just gonna kind of go over all of those today. Yeah, let's dive right into it. Now, let's talk about businesses first of all. I've had a few people ask me about businesses that has to do, for example, automobile, right? There are people who reached out to me, a few people who reached out to me and said, look, Cephas, I'm a great mechanic. I fix cars, or I do sell cars and things like that. And I'm trying to take that business model to Liberia. Is it a good idea? Of course, I've interacted with these people on a one-on-one basis but I feel like this is something that may come up again. So I just kind of want to address it. First thing is, in Liberia right now, there aren't great automobile shop, right? There are in town and things like that that people use to fix their car and stuff like that. But when it comes to mechanic shop, right, mechanic garage, there can't really be enough, right? We need a lot more of them, because when you take your car somewhere, most of the time it's probably going to take a lot longer. Secondly, I feel like the ones that are there are catered more towards just kind of patching up cars, right? There are a few of them that are really good, maybe a little bit high end in town. But now, if you go into Liberia, let me answer this question directly for you, those of you who are interested in either going back and taking your business model. Now, your target audience is going to be different. Your target audience is going to be people who are coming from the diaspora, people who are sending newer cars to Liberia, people who kind of want to have their car fixed the right way, and maybe parts being replaced and things like that, not just patching up, right? Body works and whatnot. And there are other cars that are being sent to Liberia too that finding parts for them is a little harder. So if you're going to have a shop that way, you need to cater to vehicles that are maybe American made or German made vehicles and stuff like that, that are the parts are hard to find, and you carry most of those parts. I think it's a great business model. It's a great business idea. I think it's something that can be successful in Liberia and Monrovia, in the city. I mean, but the thing though is these businesses has to be in the city, right? There are limitations. You can't take your high-end shop outside of Monrovia, outside of the city. You're gonna have slow traffic. Most people in that area, guys who drive their car, they have people right in the yard, in the neighborhood, that can fix the car for cheap. And because if you're going to set up a shop like that, you're probably going to charge a little more than the locals, right? People who are there because you're shopping a little more high end. Now, at a certain point, if you leave Monrovia, you're catering to people who are not, let's say, they didn't bring cars back from America and things like that. They're purchasing. What influences their purchase is price. Basically, they look for the cheapest person that can do it and patch it up some kind of way. They're not brand oriented. They're not brand loyal and all of that. It's just, okay, who can fix this car cheap? So for those of you who are asking about mechanic shops and things like that, those has to be done in the city. And also your business model, your target audience has to be a little different. It can't be your local cabman, bus driver, cab drivers in Monrovia. It has to be people who are from the diaspora, or not necessarily, but just people who drive a little bit higher end cars and are looking to take their car to garage to places that they can trust, because a lot of people don't even trust the mechanic as well, and for a good reason, right? I've had experience there where people around me take their car somewhere and parts were changed, some kind of parts were stolen and things like that. They put older parts and stuff. So you want to take it to a reputable place that that has the right parts, and that's set up the right way. So that business model can work for those of you who are asking. It definitely can work. I recommend it. Just do your market research in which part of Monrovia, because it has to be in the city, and then and you take it there. Other businesses that I think that can really go right now, especially answering, again, like I said, we got a lot of questions here from people in the diaspora, asking some specific questions about what kind of business model to do. Now I would say, if you have the funding power, if you have some resources, let's say for example, you have $100,000, let's say $150,000, right? A great business to start right now that can really get you, it can put you in that higher bracket in a shorter period of time, is opening. And again, it's a lot of these around. However, because of the fact that a lot of areas are now up and coming faster, is to open construction supply store, right? Building material store. Now, Cephas, there are building material store everywhere in Monrovia. Every corner you go to, people get building material store. It is true. However, though, because of the high transportation cost of transporting business materials, it is always, clients are always going to look for places closer to them. So like I said, that's where now you do your market research, right? You found a sprouting area. This could be take a little more planning or a little more long term, where you say, okay, look, you know what? For example, one of our projects we were building for Vision Estates is in, let's say, Foley Town, right? Lebanese guy who is now in Foley Town supplying materials. What he did was notice that, okay, you know what? People are coming to this area. They're about to start building in this area. Now it's a good time to set up shop. So what happens is, all of us who are building in Foley Town inside, we have to come out to the road, right to the junction, and buy all of our building materials, right? And go in. We're not gonna buy anything further than that man. Now, the thing though is, his things are at a little bit of a premium, right? He charges a little more. It's called convenience pricing. Convenience pricing, for those of you who are into economics or are aware of the terms, is basically charging a little more because of the fact that the item is convenient, right? Because you don't have to go further to look for it, because you save a little bit of money on transportation and things like that. So he's able to charge a little more for the same materials that you will buy for somewhere a little bit in town for a little cheaper. But then, if you go there, you have to go look for it, you have to transport it back, so it's going to markup the total cost of the material is going to be marked up a little bit after adding transportation, right? So that's why he's charging a little bit of a premium. Now, that's kind of what it is when it comes to building material, construction materials in Liberia. But that's one great business to do. As far as it's a good business, it's going to be for a long time, guys. Constructions and building in Liberia is going to be for the long haul. More and more Liberia. Now, I think there's a lot of Liberians who are building now. We see a lot of building growing up, but it's not going to slow down anytime soon. That business is always going to be growing up. More and more Liberians are going back home and things like that, right? So that's another business to do. Of course, I've talked about other businesses like cold storage, which I've had some people ask me about it. I've sent some information out. That's a great business to do as well. Other business, well, let's talk about some business that are cash intensive, meaning like you get money every time, every day, and things like that. And again, like there's a business like cold storage, right? Just things that are not leisurely done, like for instance, non-essentials. We talk about essential goods and services that people need every day, right? And those are some of the things we do. Now, it could be a simple thing as a water factory. Now, there's so many water in Liberia, right? People are doing water factory. People there are different water brands in Liberia. There are big ones who are owned by non-Liberians who has taken over the country. However, though, that's another material. It's fairly low cost to start up. I would say, if you have, let's say, $15,000 to $20,000, fairly low cost to set up shop, a good one. That's a business that within a shorter period of time you get your return on investment. But then it's just a cash flow. It's turning cash every day. You make money every day. Kind of go from there. It's for like those of you who are looking to move back to Liberia to live, right? You want to set up a business that's going to be has cash flow every day to live in Liberia. It's a great way, because especially if you move to Liberia, you probably already have your car and house already paid for. Unlike most of us that live in the U.S., where you live here, you're paying rent. Even if people who are homeowners, you really don't own a home. You're literally paying for the home every time. You really don't own it. If you stop paying, that's when you know if you own the home or not, because the bank is gonna come for it, right? So none of us here are homeowners. We just say we're homeowners just to feel good, but we don't own a home, because unless you're in your 50s, or you bought a house when you're 18 and you're in your 40s or something, then you probably own a home, you've paid it off. But most of us would take second mortgages and stuff. That's going deep into housing and things like that. But most of us would take second mortgages on the house, third mortgages on the house, in order to fund out maybe kids' college or different things we have going on, medical bills and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, we're always never really own a home in America. We don't. We're just leasing these people's home until we're in our 50s and we're done paying for it. Unlike in Liberia, all of these great housing opportunities that's coming now, you can own your house pretty much outright, or let's say within 5 years, right? Then you actually own your home. So those of you who are looking to move back and things like that's a great business idea. You can definitely kind of have something like a water factory in your, that's something you can build in your own yard, in your compound, right? And facilitate and run it. Just make sure the branding is good advertising and stuff like that. Make sure the water tastes good, people can tell the difference. Put some care into it. And also maybe come into the market a little bit cheaper, because you can afford to do that, because maybe your overhead is low. Come a little bit cheaper so the brand can be recognized, can be spread out there. Because again, these are things that people solely, the decision making is solely price, is nothing else, right? Unless there's PR out there that your water is nasty or you're using human blood or something. Other than that, people are driven solely by price. If it's even 1 cent cheaper, most people want to go with that option. Great way, right? Great cash flow and things like that. Now let's talk about building in Liberia briefly, and things like that. Now, when it comes to building in Liberia, again, guys, I always say, please make sure you find a good team for your building, right? And I've always said it. I've said it several times, hundreds of times. Let's think differently on how we're building in Liberia. We're too reluctant on the building process and just giving the job to somebody who would then just build the same looking home in Liberia. Do you know the homes I'm talking about? Those Liberian looking homes, right? Let's change the dynamics in which we're building. And I made a video recently about the process, and that is starting from your house plan, your house drawing, and just the design overall. We're gonna get a good team. Again, I've said that that's the service we offer. Our business is up and running. I haven't officially pushed it out there, announced it. We're still working on a few things, but we've already started working with a lot of people when it comes to getting your house plan that looks great, that looks modern, that's up to par, right? That's something you can do. Or you can research yourself, look around, you ask people who can give you some ideas, and people who you can use. That would be a great thing. And again, that's the process. And secondly, just make sure, guys, like I said, we need to really slow down on building homes in Liberia when you're not there, or going through key milestone of your project whilst you're not in Liberia. That's going to cost you a lot of money. I've said this. There's almost zero chance of you paying what things cost when you're not there in Liberia, right? So you don't want to kind of go through a means of buying a home that's already pre-done, or you go through buying a home off plan. Buying off plan from a third party. What buying off plans means is getting a company, like for example, what we offer through Vision Estate is buying off plan. Basically, you can go ahead and get a purchase agreement with us. We do your house plan, house design, we get you your land, your plot, and all that stuff, your foundation, start your houses, right? And then you pay as you go, and we design your home and everything, and you complete the process. That way you get fair pricing. Of course, we give you, our prices are usually a lot lower because we have direct connection with vendors, not vendors, but manufacturers and things like that. And we do price checking all the time to make sure we keep you up to date. So that way you pay a fair market price, you pay fair value, you don't get to run around. We are third party, we sign a contract, so you basically have that peace of mind knowing, look, nothing, if anything goes wrong, I have a backing, right? And stuff like that. So you buy off plan, but you just building your home in America, in Australia, Canada, Asia. You're building your home, sending money. People are eating your money. People are doing a little small thing, and then you send a lot of money, and your project is going slow. So think about buying off plan, or find a real estate company in Liberia that can help you purchase a home, and stuff like that, right? Or if you're building a home, like I said, just make sure you visit as often as possible. At the long run, it's gonna cost you more, but at least you get to kind of at least get exactly what you want and stuff like that. Let's jump into land buying process. One thing, I've said this before, in Baroville, we have about let's say over 50 acres of land that is from the ocean, near the ocean, a little bit further away from the ocean, right? That's something you can reach out to me to. Like I said, we've been doing this behind the scene. I'm still putting all of this together to be really up to par. But we've already been working. A company that's been established years ago in Liberia. Our visit to Liberia all has been to find a way to help all of you guys, right? And establish a real company that is up to par, that is westernized, but also with the Liberia mindset as far as the hospitality and things like that. But that's just up to par. That's just far away from the services you get in Liberia. That's kind of what we've been working on, and it's already completed. But again, we're just taking time to roll it out. But we've been working with people already, right? So something you can look out for. You don't have to use us or me. I'm just giving you information. Of course, since I do it, I'll put that information in there as well. But just finding land and the land process. As said, again, guys, few things to look out for. One, make sure you go through the lawyer when you're buying the land. If you're purchasing any land over a couple $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, pay that fee for the lawyer. That's a service we offer to our company. Has a lawyer partner that we work with that can make sure everything is done. You want this reputable, one of the best lawyers in the whole country that everybody recognizes and know, right? When a lawyer send a letter on your behalf, the people see that letterhead and they see that name, they know already this is legit. So you kind of want to go through that. Always go through a lawyer for a land buying. You'll stop saying, oh, my uncle, my auntie, my sister, this person said they found land, so you send them to buy it. Don't do that. You're almost guaranteed to run into litigation problems, and you're going to be running back and forth. It's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get anything out of it. This Liberia, you're going to be getting the runaround and basically nothing, right? Unless you're going to go to Liberia and go fight somebody. So make sure you go through a lawyer. Number three, a few things to look out for will be just visiting the land, talking to locals in the area, see who else has been visiting the area. Look for any brush mark, any kind of sign you've seen people not brush the place. Know somebody's probably there, right? Look for cornerstones, and things like that. Those are key things to look out for before buying land. Again, before you purchase the land itself, have the person send you a copy of the mother deed to make sure the person who is selling the land is on the mother deed, or is authorized by the person on the mother deed, and they're all aware of it. Before you pay money, check with the lands in mind. Check in the archive to see who actually is on there, and they have to give you the land registration or something like that. I'll find a key name. This is a document that has to renew every 3 years or 2 years to renew to make sure the owner is still the owner of the land. All of these things has to be checked by you before you pay your money, guys. Stop running into litigation process. Stop sending your money to people to say I'm buying land, all that stuff, and they say you get the land, and you go there, now somebody else is saying that's their land, or somebody else is building before you even get there. All of these services, guys, we offer that as well. Reach out to me. I can definitely help you with that. Send us an email at redvisionco at gmail.com. Send us an email at visionestatesliberia@gmail.com, or just comment on the video. I'll go ahead and help you anyways. It doesn't matter. I'll reach out. I always do this, of course, for you guys to give you more information. So go ahead and do that. Comment on the video. Let me know any other suggestion. If you have any other questions, basically I can reach out and help you. But happy weekend, happy Friday to you guys. I think I'm gonna post this today, Friday. If not, maybe another day, a couple of days from now. Have a great weekend, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.